There's that. And there's that. Which means that is going as well. Cool. I'm gonna drink some of my coffee. After I had to sit here for about 10 minutes yeah, about 10 minutes trying to figure out why my phone couldn't connect to my computer so I could do this. Turns out that the connecting IP address changed by 1 digit. I couldn't figure it out. I was like, what in the blue blazes is going on? Like, huh? What? Excuse me? Why are you doing what you're doing? I don't understand why you're doing what you're doing and such. But I got that figured out, and so now I'm here. First stream after getting back from the beach. Yeehaw. Fun times. Fun time. It's kinda stormy, rainy morning. It had been storming. I think it's kind of done, like, storming. Yeah, I think it's done, like, storming. But it's all rainy. And it's all overcast and such. I like those kind of mornings. It's like overcast and well, rainy, possibly stormy and such. Those are good, nice mornings, in my opinion. I think I like them. But I am back from the beach, or at least I have been back from the beach. I got back Friday, and I just haven't been able to stream because, like I said before I left, I'm gonna be out of commission for a few days at least. How many days? I don't know. But I am going to be out of commission. In terms of doing, like, late night streams and such. I'm gonna be, for the most part, out of commission. Tired and not, you know, sleeping early because, like last night, I fell asleep or went to bed and such at, like, 11:30 p.m. And everyone's more like, what? That's so early for you. That's normal sleeping time here on the East Coast. Actually, even 11:30 is still not normal. Probably would be normal is probably like 10:30, something like that. Something like that, at least. I'm still kind of, well, I don't know. I'm still kind of tired. Because while I like the beach and the beach is fun or can be fun and all that stuff and all, it also is at the same time kind of exhausting. Because my eyes are still tired because the sun, especially when you're on the beach, the sun really like tires your eyes out and such. And the sun just really wipes you out. Sun really wipes you out. And it doesn't help that across the whole week, like cumulative totals across the whole week, I probably walked, I don't know, like 40 or 50 miles. Something like that. Some 40 odd miles, or probably 50, somewhere around there. I walked a lot. I walked a whole lot. Uh-oh, music? What are you doing? YouTube did a weird thing. Because in the last few years, I'd say 3 or 4, there hasn't been a lot to do, or we haven't done a lot and such. And so to like occupy myself and my time and everything, I just go walking on the beach. I basically walk from one end of the beach to the other end of the beach multiple times throughout the week. It's kind of funny. Like, so the beach is about that I go to. It's like on an island kind of thing. It's on the beach is kind of like on an island, more or less. Well, it is on an island, really. And the beach on the part that we stay at is probably about 10 miles long. And where we always get a house, we're always kind of where we always set up camp on the beach is always kind of like 4 miles to the right end of the beach and about 6 miles to the left end of the beach. And so I will just go out and start at that kind of, not really midpoint, but starting point rather, of where we set up camp on the beach. And I just go walking. I just walk from there all the way to the end of one beach and then all the way back, or one end of the beach. And that's what I do. And then I wake up at 7:30 in the morning every morning to then go walk about 3 miles around the whole kind of neighborhood thing with my cousin. So you add that with walking to one end of the beach and then back, if like the right side, that's the right. What is YouTube? YouTube is having some issues. YouTube is having some issues. And I don't know why. So that adds up, especially the right side 4 miles, which is the one I choose the most because it's the most interesting. The other way is kind of like a barren wasteland of beach. at least the right side has civilization and some interesting people watching opportunities and other interesting stuff and such. So that's the way I always choose to go. Yeah, that's there and back is 8 miles. And then you add on the, 3 or 4 miles I walk in the morning, so that's like, that's 10. That's what is happening with YouTube? I don't understand what is happening. I'm gonna refresh the page because I don't know what something's weird is happening. I don't. What? I am. I don't know. I don't get it. Anyways, so that's around 10 miles. Sometimes a little more than 10 miles, I guess, depending. And that was like 5 days ish. Yeah, like 50 miles. So I walk a lot, and that's most of what I do. And so I'm I felt the walking during the week, and I'm still feeling the walking now. Kind of when you walk about 10 miles every day, and then you have the sun beating down on you and draining you. It's kind of like, ugh. And there were times where, a couple times here and there, where I would just sit in a chair underneath the shade. And I sat there. I sat there and just kind of stared out into the ocean. I just, that's it. Just sat there and stared out in the ocean. And then when I wasn't on the beach, I was in the house, just laying on the sofa or sitting in a chair, kind of just laying or sitting there, talking with family, eating food. Although I didn't eat as many cookies and all that kind of stuff as I usually do. I'm usually like continuously eating a lot of like the snack stuff and such. And I didn't do as much of that this time around, funny enough. I don't know why. But yeah. So some interesting stuff did actually happen going to the beach. I know I said that before I left that some interesting stuff probably wouldn't happen, or it could potentially happen, but then not happen. So the first night that we ate out for dinner, which was Sunday. Yeah, we did that Sunday. First night, this has never happened to me before. Never. I mean, literally never happened to me before. But I got food poisoning. And this is a restaurant that we've eaten at time and time again being there. And it's something I've gone time and time again. And somehow, something or other, I suspect it was food poisoning, but I got food poisoning. And we were going to go playing putt-putt golf. I got because of the food poisoning, I got pretty sick. Things happened, and I couldn't play putt-putt. And I went back to the house, and yeah, that was fun, not fun. And then, was it that night? I can't remember if it was that night or Monday night. There was a total lunar eclipse. A total lunar eclipse. Didn't know anything about it until the day of until we got there. Saturday. There was a total lunar eclipse, I think that night, Sunday night, or it might have been Monday night. And it was also a super moon. And also, on top of that, it was a blood moon. It's a whole culmination of lots of things. It was pretty cool, pretty neat. And then, like, the night after that, and well, when the total lunar eclipse happened, the moon didn't go completely black. It turned this, like, it turned. Uh-oh, YouTube's having a seizure again. The heck? What is? I don't understand what's happening with this YouTube tab. Anyways, it didn't go like completely black. It went this like kind of this darkish brown color, because there's also like a blood moon. So it went this very interesting dark brown color, and you could still see the moon and such. And then it was the night after. Yeah, it would have had to have been the night after. It was the night after. Went to go watch the moonrise that night. Just to see what it would look like and such, because it was still a super giant, or a super moon, and also blood moon. So when it came out from the horizon, it was kind of cloudy because it had stormed. It wasn't that it had stormed. It was that it was. A storm was approaching. It was going to storm. That's what it was. So it was kind of a little bit cloudy on the horizon, but you could still see the moon rising. And so the moon rose, and it was a little bit behind clouds. They were kind of just like little wispy clouds. And the moon was like, it wasn't the dark brown color anymore, because it wasn't eclipsed anymore. And it was still the blood moon. So it was this very red color. It was interesting. It was a very vibrant red like color and such. It was really cool seeing it rise up from the horizon. And then, like, it fully rose and it was still behind clouds. And sat there for a while longer and waited for the moon to rise more. And it rose up above the clouds because there was just some low-hanging clouds around the horizon. There wasn't anything up above. So it was like watching a second rising of the moon. It watched the moon rise twice. So it rose above the clouds and it became this even more vibrant, like, red color and such. It was so cool. And meanwhile, while the moon is rising and all this is going on, behind us, there's like these gigantic storm clouds and, you know, lightning and thunder going off and such. And all down the beach behind us, you can see the lightning going off in these clouds. So it's like on one end over on the horizon of the water, on the water, the moon's rising, and behind us there's a storm going off. It was actually really cool. It was actually really cool, and it did make the water, at least where it was lighting the water up, it did make the water red. So that's kind of cool. Or at least reddish. And then the night after that, went to go see the moon rise again, although it was kind of already up out of the horizon when we went to go see it because we got there a little late. And the moon, it was still a super moon, was less of a blood moon, but still kind of had that going on. Was up in the sky, and it pretty far up in the sky at this point, and it just looked like a giant wheel of cheese floating in the sky. It was kind of funny, and it looked cool. But that day after this, well, no, it wasn't the day after the storm happened. It was the day after that me and my father were walking down the beach, down the right side, towards the right end of the beach. And YouTube. There it is. And we got to one part of that beach, or that side of the beach, and there was a sign saying beware submerged pipe, or unsubmerged pipe, or whatever. I can't remember exactly what it said. It was either unsubmerged pipe or submerged pipe. But there was this giant pipe, this giant industrial pipe, just sitting there on the beach, unsubmerged. It was just like, wait, what? And it went far, far, far. You could see the shadow of it going far, far out into the ocean. And then, like, even further way out into the ocean, there was these buoys on the surface of the water, kind of marking where it was and such. And I was just kind of like, huh? Wait, what? Hold on a second. Where did this thing come from? It was kind of crazy. It's like, wait a second, what? I took a bunch of pictures of it and all. And I was looking down the pipe, and it had to have gone unsubmerged, like during the storm or something. Or I don't know, because it wasn't there. We already had been down that way, or at least I had, like, twice. And it wasn't there. It was not there when we walked down that way, the first couple of times. But then it was there, and it was like, all right. And we looked down into the pipe, and sand had already kind of like filled in into the pipe and such. and we were trying to shine flashlights down it, but yeah, that wasn't working. The flashlights weren't cutting the darkness of the inside of the pipe. And we kind of made the jokes like in some like horror film or something, like you're looking down the pipe and then all of a sudden something comes charging out and like wraps around your face, kind of like the face huggers from Alien. And there was that we continued walking down towards the end of the beach, and on our way back, people were coming by and like looking at it and everything, and it was getting a lot of attention and such. It's like, what in the world even happened? How could this get here? Because you know this is like steel, iron, or like steel pipe. So not a very heavy, a very heavy thing and long thing too, going way out into the ocean. So it's like, how would the storm really like pick this up and drag it onto the beach? Like something, I don't know. It was like weird, just kind of like, huh? It was very interesting. Oh yeah, and so right at the kind of near the end of the right side of the beach, there's this like gated community of these really fancy houses and such. And the first day we walked down there, we noticed that like everyone was like rebuilding their boardwalks. They're like little private personal boardwalks. And I was like, what's going on? It's like, so did the code change or something? Or was it just a situation of like, Jim over there is is renewing his board, or extending and rebuilding his boardwalk. We gotta rebuild our boardwalk. But it walked further down past where most of the construction was going on, and it looked like the boardwalks were just like torn to shreds, and some parts of the outside of the houses were like damaged and stuff. And it was really weird because, like, wait a second, what happened? And it's like, well, I guess maybe some kind of like powerful storm had to have come through and like ripped apart the boardwalks, because there was like it was really weird. Like there was parts of like the staircases there, like the railing was like hanging out on one part, but like not, and it was weird. And then like a little YouTube. And then like a little bit further from that gated community is the end of the beach, or what is supposed to be the end of the beach. And there's this like kind of like bay area river thing that goes that like splits that beach from another beach. And it's this like expansive water mass area. It's like water that's supposed to be like some 20 feet deep and such. So we get to the end of the beach, and we find out that bay, river, whatnot area doesn't exist anymore. All the water is gone. It's just gone. There is no bay. And the two beaches are more or less connected now. And it was just like, wait, what? What happened here to dramatically change the landscape and such and rip apart the boardwalks? I mean, like, the landscape is dramatically changed. Because, like, the end of this beach, like, there's sand piled up or whatever. And like, there's the dunes, and then a tiny little bit of beach, and then just a sheer cliff of sand that then goes into the water. And that's how it was. That's before, you know, that's how it used to be and whatever. But now that sheer cliff had turned into a valley, and it went uphill to more sand. And it's kind of like, wait a second. Huh? Like, where there was sand, there was not supposed to be sand, and like raised up sand, elevated sand, that where it didn't exist before, and all this stuff. And it was just like, what? Huh? Hold up. It was so weird. It was just so weird to see that just all that water gone and the whole landscape like dramatically changed. I was just kind of like, what? Instead, you know, walked and such, and you could pretty much walk to the other beach almost, but there was this tiny little bit of water, deep enough water between the two beaches that you'd have to get to the other beach. You'd have to swim a little bit, but not a lot. It's not something you could walk through. It was not shallow enough to walk through. You have to swim. But I was interesting. Found like giant whole, and I mean like whole clam shells and such, or scallop shells and all. Like whole shells. Usually when you walk down the beach, if you find any shells, especially large ones, they're like most times broken or have holes in them and damaged in some way or other. Nope. These were whole shells, and giant ones too. And I was like, holy cow. What? It was something else for sure. It was really, really interesting. What is happening with YouTube? What is happening with? This is really weird. I don't know what's happening. I almost want to. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna duplicate this tab so it's a whole new tab. And maybe it'll behave better. Maybe. Seems to be, so far at least. But yeah, a lot of interesting stuff happened and such, and weird things and all. I'm trying to think of like, I think in terms of like interesting stuff or whatever, that's about it. Yeah, because that's really the highlights or whatever of the trip. More or less, at least, the highlights of the trip. It was kind of, I mean, it was relaxing in a exhausting way. Oh, yeah, relaxing in an exhausting way. That is very much it's always a week that like kind of resets me more or less. Cause I wake up, and every year for doing this, I wake up at 7:30 to do walking, and then and then I go sleep about 11:30, anywhere between 11:30 and like 1:30. Well, 11:30 p.m. and to 1:30 a.m. Anywhere between there is when I go to sleep. And so if I'm like off an Eastern time zone sleep schedule, this always knocks me right back into it. And so it resets a lot of things for me and such in terms of like circadian rhythm, biological clock, and all that kind of stuff. And it's also a week where, because of just kind of having a lot of quiet time, well, I mean, the whole week is just a week of quiet time. Of just personal time, of just kind of sitting or walking with just yourself and your thoughts, basically. So I do a lot of thinking. Oh, Jesus! That took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting that. That took me by surprise for a second. Why is that? What does that say? I am so... Cappy Cat? What? That's an interesting name. That is an interesting name. Thanks for the follow. Anyways, what was I going on about? What was... No, YouTube is still doing that weird thing. What the heck? YouTube is still doing that weird thing. What? Huh? What? YouTube, what do you do? What? Why is YouTube doing the weird business? What? I don't. YouTube is breaking. YouTube is breaking. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, thinking. Yeah, there's a lot of time for me to kind of just think. Whereas, I mean, I'm always thinking, there's always thoughts and stuff rummaging around my head and all. I'm always thinking about something, you know, at any given time. Thinking about multiple things at once. But during this time at the beach, it's like I'm really thinking about stuff because there's nothing to really distract me from thinking. Because I don't take any electronics with me. I mean, well, I take my phone with me, but that's about the only electronic I take with me. But I don't use my phone. I really don't use my phone. There's not a lot I do on my phone. There's a couple of games every once in a while that I'll, play on my phone, and that's it. That's it. I don't use my phone for, I don't like using the phone version of Discord and other apps like that, because it's just things end up in a confusing mess and such. And it's just kind of like, where am I? What's going on here? It's just so dramatically different, especially like Twitter. Twitter is so dramatically different from the website. The Twitter app is dramatically different from the website, and like the Twitter app is such a big mess. YouTube. It's such a big mess. Cute? No. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Cool? Yes. Cute? Nah. But the app is such a confusing mess. Like it's so weird. It's like I'm trying to like figure out where I am and like scrolling through stuff. I'm like, wait a second, I just saw this. Hold on. Wait, I just saw this again. Wait, why is this thing keep repeating? And other things. It's just, I don't get it. I don't understand it. But anyway, yeah. So I don't use my phone really at all when I'm on that trip, or really any trip for that matter. Long time ago, I used to have a laptop I would take, but I don't really, my laptop doesn't really work anymore, so, and I can't really do much on it anyways, so I don't take it. It also doesn't help that the internet is always not the best there at the beach, so there's not much I can do anyways, even if I had technology that worked and such. There's not much you can do. Like I can't, the way the internet is there, you can't really watch a video and such. That doesn't work. So I'm very much disconnected from the world, electronics, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so all I have is thinking, basically, especially when I'm walking, and I will sit walking and sitting on the porch at night and such, kind of just quietly sitting there drinking tea or whatever, and looking up at the sky, the stars and such. Do a lot. It's a lot of deep thinking at that time. Hello, Hugh and I'm gonna call you Q. I'm gonna call you Q. Hello, Q. Welcome to the stream. Riding horses often. That's cool. I'd like to learn how to ride a horse. I've always wanted to learn how to ride a horse. Just haven't had the best opportunity to learn how to ride a horse and such. And be able to ride a horse in general. I have been on the back of a donkey, though. That was when I was much younger, though. Gosh darn it, YouTube doing the thing again. Grew up with horses. See, there's like where I live. There's horses kind of all around and such. There's horses in the area, and where I've been around horses, because that's just what happens when you're in the country and such, or country-ish. It's not full country, but kind of out in the country-ish. But yeah, I just didn't have opportunity to. Despite there being horses kind of spitter-spattered around me, didn't have the opportunity. Haven't had the opportunity to learn. Big horse stable. Well, you're lucky. Lucky you. Lucky you. But anyways, yeah, so that time spent thinking or deep thinking, because that's a lot of all I have and such was going on that trip. Deep thinking. A lot of things, both good and bad, come out of that. Like thinking about the whole streaming business thing, like for the past while now, however long, I can't remember now how long, like specifically, that I was like, tried turning it from just hobby streaming to like full-time streaming, trying to actually making it to a job. I think it's been like 2 years now or something like that for that. I mean, I've been streaming for 5 years. 5-ish, 6-ish, 6 years. I've been streaming. But it was always like as a hobby and such. And then I guess like, I don't know, a year and a half ago, 2 years, where I was like, I'm gonna make this a job. Actually, I think it was just like a year and a half ago. I'm gonna make this a job. I'm gonna try and make this a job and everything. Here's a schedule of this and that, and like, I'm gonna take this seriously. Yeah. It hasn't really worked out as far as it needs to, I guess, and such, and doing, or I missed a lot of marks, probably. Most definitely. So, I mean, one of the things, I'm gonna just go back to just not doing this like full time. It's just gonna be back to like kind of like hobby streaming. Because making this into like something that a job where I can earn an income or something, that's bloody impossible. That's gosh darn bloody impossible. And it's not gonna work out. And it seems like more now than ever that it's very apparent, very apparent, that you have to be some part of what I call alphabet soup to get anywhere anymore with streaming. So you have to be like, trans, or some type of gender whatnot thing, or like femboy or whatever. You have to be some sort of one of those things if you are some sort of one of those things, then you skyrocket. You skyrocket fast. You skyrocket fast. As a streamer, especially if you're a VTuber. If you're a VTuber streamer, you are some sort of something of one of those many things, you skyrocket fast. And I mean fast. I watch this stuff. Like I kind of look at this stuff and it's like, oh, this person, 1 week ago had this many people. In another week's time, they've quadrupled their numbers. And it's like, what? Huh? What? And they're not even really doing anything. I'm just like, what? Huh? What? What in blue blazes? It doesn't make any sense. Spilled a little coffee. What the heck? How did that happen? It just doesn't. Oh, welcome back. It doesn't make any. Oh, YouTube, what are you doing? I swear, YouTube is breaking. And so it's like, and like, even if you're, not one of the things, and you're just a normal female, you do better. You still do better. Not as, the people, there's some type of something of those things. You do better than even females. I'm like, wait a something doesn't seem right about that. And then if you're just a normal straight male, just fully normal, which I am, then it's a big like, screw you, buddy. You thought you could walk through this door? Think again. And it's just like, oh, okay. But and then again, I'm old school and also don't fully understand the internet, but also it seems like that's just the internet in general. Like, the internet in general, for the most part, is like, you can't be a normal straight male and have some type of substantial existence on the internet. That just seems to not be the case, or work. For whatever reason, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Like I said, I'm old school. I'm very old school. So I've been trying to say like a big screw you back at the whole thing, and like, I'm gonna show you the will and determination to break past your weird I don't even know what the right term would be. It's not gatekeeping. Break past what your weird culture says is right and wrong of the internet. Basically, I guess. probably still not the best wording and such, or terms to use. And it's like, not to take this out of context and me saying like, oh, you know, it's bad if you're this or that other thing. It's like, nah, you do you. You know, if that's what you want to do and such, if that's what you think you need to do. You know, if that's what you think you need to do to make yourself happy, then by all means, you know, go for it and do it and such. You know, I'm just gonna be over here. you can go do that. So I'm not saying I'm like against people, you know. I'm saying like you can't do that, you know. You think you're this and you can do that? No. Yeah, that's not what I'm saying. that's not what I'm saying. I don't know. It's an interestingly weird phenomenon that's some kind of funky that I don't know. Like, and to some degree or other, it seems like it's become almost it's like a trend, basically, at this point, seemingly, to become something or other that's part of that whole thing of what I call alphabet soup, because it keeps getting longer and longer and longer and longer and longer with all these letters attached to it. And I'm bad with acronyms. I hate acronyms, actually. I just hate acronyms. I look at a word that's like 3 letters or 4 letters that are just this random amalgamation of like 4 letters combined together. I'm like, what the heck is that? And then, you know, one of my friends is like, you don't know what that stands for? It's like, no. And it's blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what? Huh? What? What? Where do you get that from? How are you supposed to know that? What are all these acronyms and shorthand stuff? I don't. That are you? Uh-oh. There goes YouTube breaking again. And so I only call it alphabet soup because I don't know what else other it is. Like there are so many letters attached to it now. I don't know it's over 30 letters now, right? Or something like that, probably. I guess something. Why is hello music, come back, please. Come back to me, music. So I don't know what all the letter there's too many letters for me to know what all of it is. So I just summarize it as alphabet soup. And if you say alphabet soup, anyone and everyone is gonna know what I'm talking about, probably. They may not take it the right way. They may think that I'm trying to be offensive and saying alphabet soup or whatever, which I'm not. It's just my best way of you know, instantly identifying something that I'm talking about and such. In that regard, or in that context, I guess. you could and or would say. But yeah, I don't know, despite my best efforts, which, I mean, I kind of stopped using Twitter. I mean, I still look at Twitter just to, like, see if I can't keep up with stuff, which, I mean, there is some, like, informative, like, keeping up with stuff that does exist on my Twitter page, but a lot of it is just a bunch of nonsense that doesn't make any sense or whatever. It's just kind of like this big mess. YouTube, stop breaking. It's just this big mess, and I just scroll straight through it because it's just like, I don't know what any of this is anymore. But so I still scroll through Twitter and such, but in terms of me, like, actively using it for posting stuff and such, that's kind of, because, like, for the last while now, all I've been posting is, you know, hi, I'm going live. Hi, I'm going live. Hi, I'm going live. You know, because I don't know what to post. I don't have anything to post. I don't have anything to post. Nor do I know what to post. Like, for a while, like last year, I was near probably the, you know, second half of last year, I was beginning to understand, or I thought I thought I was beginning to understand Twitter and such, and, you know, what to do and what not to do and all this kind of stuff, and, like, I was posting stuff and such, and I thought I was getting a hang of it and getting a feeling for the whole whatever social media platform. I don't understand social media. I don't understand social media platforms and social media, so, but I thought I was getting a hang of it. And things were starting to make sense on Twitter. Like, there was like actual things on Twitter. At least my Twitter page, timeline thing, whatever it's called, the home page, the home timeline page, whatever terminology you want to use for it. Like, there was a lot of like actual stuff, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Oh, this is cool. Oh, that's cool. Oh, look at that. That's something, you know. And there was like stuff that I could reply to, like comment on and such. Like there was stuff that I was commenting on and all. And then something happened. I don't know what happened. Something happened. And then all of a sudden it's like, YouTube broke. All of a sudden, like, out of nowhere, nothing made sense anymore, and like all the stuff that I could like comment on and such just disappeared, and there was nothing I could comment on anymore. It's like I didn't know what was showing up in front of my face. I was like, what is all this stuff? And it started becoming just this like every day in and out, just the same stuff being like posted again and again. It's just the same stuff. So it's like nothing was new, nothing was different. It was just the same exact stuff, and I just scroll right past it. It's like, yeah, this is nothing new. Okay, all right, this is nothing like, and there was nothing I could comment on and such or like interact with. And it's like, okay, okay. What do I do now? What do I do now? What am I supposed to do now? What? And I don't know, maybe, and it might be the fact of that I didn't really, I mean, like, I grew up with the internet, well, sort of kind of grew up with the internet, you know, YouTube, when YouTube first came about and such. I was like, what is this? What in blue places is this? What am I looking at? What is all this stuff? Cat videos. Oh, that's kind of funny. You know, when that stuff first came about. But I wasn't an internet person. I still am not an internet person. Didn't use the internet. Then that wasn't something I really did. I didn't go, like, I had to be forced to get a Facebook account in 2014, and I didn't even use it. I was like, what am I looking at? What is this Facebook? I don't understand it. Why must I have this? I don't want to. I have no interest in this. So it's probably a factor that I didn't, engage. I really didn't engage with the internet growing up and such, and still don't really engage with the internet. And so in that lack of engagement, I, just, the internet might as well not exist in that sense, I guess, for me. Because I lack a lot of knowledge of, like, what's going on and such. It's like, what am I looking at, And in that regards, which it seems like just YouTubing is everything about the internet culture that I don't know about at all or understand. And streaming in general too, or whatever. And so without that knowledge, I guess, or whatever, it's like it's a impossible uphill battle. Basically, an impossible uphill battle. But I'm still gonna, like, stream and such. But it's just I'm just gonna go back to streaming as a hobbyist, like a hobby streamer, rather than like I'm going at this full time. I'm gonna put everything into this, and something kind of funky funny. I don't know. And I think probably the only, in some capacity or other, the only reason why I've gotten any real amount of attention and such or whatever, or like gotten to however many followers I'm at now, 563, is because of the rebranding that I did, changing the name and everything, and also in the fact that that I have a female character that represents everything. And that right there is probably the biggest thing. Probably. Maybe. Most likely. Possibly. And that is like the biggest reason for having any attention or anything. It's not me. It's not me at all. Because like I streamed for the longest time ever, without any type of like visual representation of, a character or whatever. It was just my screen and whatever I was streaming, whatever game I was streaming, and that was it. you know, no face cam or any kind of like stuff. And my channel streaming didn't really start to take off until I jumped on the bandwagon of VTubing, which was me cooking up a 3D model that was a, you know, female character or whatever. And that's probably the only reason why anything took off. Not because of me, but because of that. Because nothing about me or, you know, my really, in any sense, my content and such has changed, more or less. You know, I'm still the kind of occasionally funny, normal guy that's just here on this weird platform. The only thing that's changed is that, hi, there's an a interesting looking female character on the screen. That's the only thing that's changed, like that changed and such. And people look at that as like, oh, look at that. But then they hear my voice. Well, actually, oh, sometimes, half the time, maybe they look at the one and then you hear my voice. Like, wait a second, something doesn't match up here. and then I get to ask questions of like, oh, are you trans? Are you this? Are you that? And it's like, no, no, I'm not. I'm just a normal straight male. Hi. Welcome to my channel. I'm just a normal straight male that causes chaos. And I think people get turned off by that. Because people on the internet don't like normal straight guys. Basically. And you know, it's subsequented by Twitch allowing like stream titles that say I hate men, you know, and all that kind of stuff, but not allowing stream titles of I hate women. You know, you can't make that a stream title. And it's like, wait a second, what? Hold on, what? Hold on, what? Hold on a second. What? Something's not right about that. Something's funky funny about that. Something's really not right about that. I don't know about the whole thing. It's kind of one big mess, I guess, more or less. Basically one big mess of just something I can't wrap my head around. Well, I think I kind of have wrapped my head around it to some degree or other. It's just nothing it's something that I can't easily integrate myself to or into and such in some capacity or other, I guess. You know, actually, funny enough, it's you know, it seems like everyone is going 2D VTuber now. Because there's a lot of 3D VTubers I see. It's like they're getting a 2D VTuber model. And I haven't seen them use their 3D models in a long time. And it's like, wait a second. Hold up, something's not right about this. It's like you had this fancy facial tracking and hand tracking and all this other stuff with a 3D model. But aren't you losing that with the 2D model? And then turns out, like, I figure out, like, I don't know, was it like yesterday? Something like yesterday. I figured out that 2D VTubing actually legitimately has everything that 3D VTubing has, plus a whole lot more. And I'm like, that's some funky funniness that 2D VTubing now seems to have become the superior form of VTubing. And like nothing has really happened in terms of technology for 3D VTubing in a very long time. And I mean like a very long time, like the last, I don't know, 8 months? Probably, something like that. Nothing has happened. Nothing like substantial and serious and such. But everything seems to be full steam ahead with 2D VTubing technology and such. And there's a whole lot more accessibility, it seems like, for 2D VTubing that doesn't exist whatsoever with 3D VTubing. There's no real accessibility when it comes to 3D VTubing, especially when it comes to like getting a model in the first place. You know, it seems a whole lot easier to get and make and whatever a 2D VTubing model than it is with a 3D VTubing model. Although, I mean, for me, it was very easy to do, 3D stuff. I just, bought a base. I just bought a base and then other stuff and did the whole 3D modeling stuff myself and whatnot. And it wasn't that hard and such. It's not that hard. But at the same time, I don't know. And there's I can see some, like, one part of the appeal of 2D VTubing is that you can have a very, varying artistic style about your model and such. Like, if you want to have a very, say, cute and colorful and pop out animated whatever model, you can have that. But if you want to have like a dark, grim, cool, gritty model aesthetic, art aesthetic, you can do that. Which, that kind of varying of aesthetics is hard to do with 3D modeling. It's very hard to do, or it can be very difficult to do with 3D modeling. So I can see some aspect of appeal when it comes to that. And that's another thing. It's like, I really don't see 3D models anymore. I randomly happened upon one actually last night. I was like, oh, look, someone who's doing art and is using or streaming art and is using a 3D model. Hey, look at that. I was actually taken by surprise. I was like, oh, look, a fellow 3D VTuber. But 3D VTubers seem to have like basically disappeared, and everyone is just 2D VTubing. now. Like Zendrea recently re-debuted. It was like, was it Friday? I think it was Friday, the day I got back from the beach. Or was it? Yeah, no, it was the 20, no, was it 20, was it the 20th or was it the 21st that, I don't know, whatever day it was the same day as her birthday. She re-debuted as, like, she's no longer a dragon. I've come to understand and realize that no, dragon is no more. It's not like a, oh, this is, you know, I'll swap back and forth between this and dragon. No, dragon is gone. Android is here. She's re-debuted as a like android, cyborg, whatever, robot. And so dragon is gone. And on top of that, it's a 2D model. Now, she says that she's working on getting a 3D model. Working on the 3D model of, you know, her new aesthetic or look or whatever you want to call it. But I question how often that's going to be used compared to the 2D model, because Girl DM is one of them that got a 2D model. Actually, she got 2 2D models, I think. But this one 2D model is like all this like fancy floral poofy dress kind of business thing. Gothic. Not really like in terms of colors, but just like style gothic dress, whatever. And for the last long while now, since she's gotten that's what she's been using. Though she said that she was going to use the 3D model, but I don't think she has in a actual good long time since she got the model. Which, I mean, I understand like if you get a new model and such that you paid some sum of money for and such, you want to use it. You want to use it to some good extent so that you feel like you get your money's worth out of it, right? And I can understand that. But like if it was me, I would like go back and forth. Like I would swap in and out and such. I wouldn't do like a whole period of time, like long period of time of where it's just like say the 2D model or whatever. I wouldn't do that. So I don't, it seems like and what I'm getting at with all this is that now with VTubing, the only real VTubers that get attention anymore or are getting attention or and such or are that get attention more or less are 2D VTubers. Like that's the thing. It's like people like 2D VTubers more than 3D VTubers because there's something about the like artistic styling of 2D VTubing, I guess, and the just whole, I guess, correlation with anime, I guess, to some extent or others. That's the relationship there with higher degree of attention to 2D VTubers than 3D VTubers. I don't know. It's a very interesting thing to go about and think and such. No, YouTube's breaking. YouTube's breaking again. YouTube, stop breaking. YouTube. I don't know why YouTube is breaking like this. I've never seen it break like this. As much as it's breaking, it's so weird. It's so weird. I don't get it. And it's not my internet. My internet's fine. my internet's more than fine. But anyways, I don't know, it's very interesting and weird. And also there's like the whole thing of well, I mean, I guess essentially what I'm doing now is just sitting here, not actually doing anything, not doing anything at all. Like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here talking, you know, just sitting here talking, and that's the content. But also some kind of like, I don't know, I don't know. A lot of it just kind of goes over my head. I tried to think about it and like understand a lot of this stuff, and then just in trying to logic it out, it just kind of goes over my head. So I don't know. And I guess a question could be asked of me: would I ever get a 2D model? And if I had the money, let's throw that in there. Let's throw that in there. If I had the money to do it and get a 2D model, would I do it? I think I've probably answered this question before in some capacity or other. I would be tempted. I would be tempted to get a 2D model for that kind of artistic flair. But it would have to have, which I found out that whatever, I can't remember the name of the program, but actually does the one-to-one facial capture like what I've got going on now, and actually uses iFacial mocap for it. I was like, oh, okay. Whatever 2D model I would get would have to have that functionality on it. Have to. I mean, have to, because otherwise it'd be a downgrade. Because that's what I have now. I have the, like, you know, one-to-one facial capture and such, so I can go, and go, you know, I can do all that business and such. And so I wouldn't want to not have that, because I really enjoy, I love the one-to-one facial capture stuff to death. It's funny, it's amazing. It's very nice. I like it. And that's the thing I like about the 3D models and such, is that it has that capability and such that you can do this. You can do the 52 blend shape business stuff with all the, you know, facial capture and such. So if I got a 2D model, it would have to have that. Have to. No other exception. Because I wouldn't accept a downgrade from that. Because that would be a dramatic downgrade. And you know, if my 2D model had that and such, or had the ability to have that and such, I would be very tempted to get it, just for the whole kind of like artistic flair of aesthetics and such. And probably what would end up happening is if I got it and such, that what I would use it for is the games that, or games and such stuff that were more intensive and such and required more resources. For games that required more resources, I would use the 2D for, because like Red Dead Redemption and some other games, I can't really use my 3D, I can't really do like the whole VTubing for it because they're very resource intensive, and the way I've got VC face set up with my 3D model, it's also pretty resource intensive. And so the two clash and there's not enough resources and everything breaks and dies. And so I can't really VTube with those games. So for like with those games and such, I would use the 2D model for it, because the 2D model wouldn't use, I would assume, probably most likely, would not use as much resources as I am using right now with VC face. So I would use the 2D model for that, and then everything else under the sun I would use the 3D model for. And that would be that would be my answer to that. Wow, it's only been an hour and 32 minutes since I last looked at Twitter, and there's already 32 new tweets. That's new and different. I bet it's the one person that I just recently followed. I bet. Yep, that's what it looks like. Just kind of scrolling through, seeing what the posts are about. And it is that same one person that has absolutely exploded my homepage timeline thingamabobber. I thought it was like, this person posts some stuff about VTubing technology and such, and all some very interesting things. Maybe I should, follow him. Follow the person and such, so I can see some of that interesting technology stuff. I follow a person, immediately my whole entire timeline has exploded. I was like, where, what, how many, what? I never seen, like 10 minutes goes by and there's like 50 new posts. I'm like, wait a second, something's not right with this. Who, what, where, why are there 50 new posts? And I, update, reload the timeline page thing and start scrolling through. It's all a bunch of retweets and such from this person and everything. I'm like, oh no, what have I done? Maybe this wasn't a good idea. It's kind of funky funny. kind of fun, funky, funny. Yeah, it's a lot of like retweets and whatnot of. Very interesting. But yeah, I think that's kind of the state of everything in some sense or other. Oh yeah, while I was at the beach. Like the day, funny, okay, so the day I left for the beach, a VTuber trend on Twitter exploded. It was just a completely new trend. It was a new trend of like the whole VTuber versus IRL. Except this time, instead of the whole like pit crew thing of like VTuber avatar versus IRL self, where everyone was using that pit crew picture avatar thing to do that for. This time the trend was VTuber boobs versus IRL boobs. I was just like, wait a second, what, huh? And some people were trying to throw a twist in there of like VTuber thighs versus IRL thighs. And I'm just like, of course. Huh? What? Sure, yeah, cool, yeah, well, and I thought about like just doing a joke of you know, going into VRChat and like taking a picture or whatever. It's like, ha ha, VTuber boobs, you know, and then you know, going over to YouTube is breaking again. Going over here and maybe maybe grabbing this picture here, and doing it like a side by side, like the VTuber boobs versus IRL boobs. Because I'm a guy, I don't have any. And so the last VTuber versus IRL thing that I did was that if I scroll far back enough, probably I will find it. Scroll back far enough. It won't take too long probably to find it. Most likely. It wasn't that long. Well, it was a while ago, but you see what my Twitter's like. This is what I've posted, all my stuff and such. Where is it? Where? Wait a second. Where in Blue Blazes is it? Wait, where in Blue what? Hold on a second. Where'd it go? Where Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Wait a sec. Oh, here it is. Okay, I finally found it. Scrolled far enough. I did the last time I did joined in on the trend of VTuber versus IRL. I did this where I did the pit crew wherever as best as I could to match, you know, the avatar. And then for IRL, it's just Emperor Palpatine. So I was gonna do that again for this new, because everyone knows I'm Emperor Palpatine in real life, right? But I was gonna do that, but I think it's too late. Probably too late to jump in on the trend. Probably. So I'm not gonna do anything for it. I was thinking of doing something for it as a joke. As a joke, but yeah, I think I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm just not gonna do that because, I don't know. I don't really feel like doing it. It's kind of a silly, a funky, funny trend on it. It's a very funny, funky trend. Very funny, funky trend. Funky, funny. Funky, funny trend. Ha 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 ha. I know another interestingly funny thing about Twitter and such. Like, I see a lot of these people that have been on Twitter for less time than I have. Like, they've only been on Twitter for like a year, or at least had that specific account in terms of like that specific VTuber account to say. Only had it for a year. Sometimes less than a year. And in that time, they've made some like 4,000 tweets. Anywhere from like 1,000 to 4,000 tweets in that year or a few months. I'm like, what? Hold on a second. What? How? What? How? How in that amount of time do you make that many tweets? What? That doesn't make any sense. Cause okay, I've had this one specific Twitter account since 2019. It's not my own personal. I don't have a personal, like what I would classify as a personal Twitter account. I don't have a personal Twitter account. I made this Twitter account specifically for my whole streaming business, my whole content creation business and such. I made it for that. So it's a, you could classify it as a work Twitter. As a work Twitter. It's for my quote unquote business. For streaming, both with, you know, and content creation with Twitch and YouTube and whatever else. That's what it's for. And that's what I, you know, started it for. It wasn't for, you know, like a personal Twitter and such, and that I don't have one. So in the time that I've had it since 2019 to now, I have made 739 tweets, which in my own world and realm of thinking and such, I would think, oh, that's a pretty fair amount. That's a lot. That's a lot of tweets. And then I look at these people that, you know, only had these accounts exist for like a few months to a year, and they have 4,000 tweets. I'm like, what? You know, what are you doing? How do you tweet that much. I mean, I would think you'd have to spend like your whole entire like day just glued to Twitter. It's like, what are you even tweeting? What are you tweeting? It's just like, I don't know. It gets lost on me. It doesn't make any sense. I'm just kind of like, huh. I don't know. I don't know. It really is kind of funky funny. It's very funky funny, and the whole bit of everything of it is just very much so lost on me, I guess. Which is, you know, part of, I guess, the problem as the whole, in a whole, to my lack of ability to integrate into internet culture and actually do anything with streaming and such. And you know, the funny thing is, like, you know, people talk about like talking to people, Twitter being an important social media thing because of connecting with people and talking with people and everything, and you know, this, that, and the other thing, and be able to socialize with people. And you know, then you have all these like little, I guess, meme things of like people like, I send a DM to someone, they send one back, I'm still relevant or something, and it's Twitter DMs and such or whatever, Twitter stuff. And like, to me, I'm like, I don't have DMs. I don't see I don't see and or understand how you actually like socialize on Twitter. Like, I could understand like back quote unquote back in the day. Look at this any different now. With Facebook, like even that of something that I didn't use and such, I could understand like how you actually like socialized with people on that. How you socialize with people on that. But on Twitter, how in blue blazes are you actually supposed to socialize with people on that? It's a big mess of nonsense. And it's like, if you want to talk about like socializing with people and talking to people in DMs, I would think you would refer to like Discord. You know, you would go to Discord, because Discord is somewhere where you can actually socialize. You can join servers, of which a lot of times are, can be small communities or large communities where, actual communities exist. People say communities exist on Twitter and you have to join the communities on Twitter and such. I don't understand that. I look and see, it's like, where are these communities? How, what, huh? What are you talking about and all? And there's communities on Discord and they're called servers, big and small. And there's channels and such where you can socialize with a bunch of different people. You can get into voice calls and you can easily DM people. And there's an easy trade back and forth of DMs with Discord. And if you want to talk about like socializing and connecting with people, I would think you would want to refer to Discord and use Discord and talk about Discord, because Discord to me makes all the sense in the world. It's easy and it's not a jumbled mess, as far as I understand. Now, it might be just the servers that I'm in, but it's where you can. It's Discord's a place where you can actually connect and socialize with people, because they're actual places where you just have conversations, be it actively talking through voice or just texting. Twitter, I don't see that. Where people talk about that kind of stuff, it's like, where on Twitter, it's like, where is it? How? And I've been shown, more or less, oh, this is what we've been talking about. And I'm like, huh? How's this any different from just my, home timeline page thing? These are just a bunch of random nonsensical posts and such. How are you supposed to socialize and connect and communicate with people on this? There's, huh? It does. It's a nonsensical mess. That just, I don't know. It's very much lost on me. And I'm a pretty logical person. At least I'd like to think of myself as a pretty logical person. And I try to logic my way through things. Most everything. 99% of everything I try to logic my way through and come to some logical conclusion of anything. But this whole, phenomenon is something I have failed to logic my way through. Because it just doesn't make any sense. Like I said earlier, social media just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I've never understood social media. Even when I was forced to get a Facebook account, and I was like, why would you want, what is the need or want to, post the internet, all aspects of your life? It's like, oh, I just got done taking the most pleasurable I just got done taking the most, pleasurable crap in my life or whatever. It was so, I just peed so hard. I've never peed harder in my life, kind of thing, or whatever. It's like, why? And, that's just kind of like a random example and such. There's better examples of people posting out all aspects of their life and such. But it's like, and that was with just Facebook and such. I was like, why would you want to do that? I have no interest in that. I myself, I don't see I still, to this day, don't see it, and I never did in the past see the appeal of doing that. I see the appeal of, you know, talking to people on the internet, like having conversations with people on the internet. I see the appeal in that, you know, just actual, like actual conversations. Hi, Penguin. I understand the appeal of that, because you get influenced by a bunch of different cultures and all that kind of stuff, and you get to see how other people think around the world and all that kind of stuff. Even within your same country, like across different time zones and whatever, different parts of the same country that you live in and whatever, you get to, you know, interact with those people and such. And I can see the appeal in that aspect, or that degree or capacity of like social media and that's what Discord is. That's what Discord is and allows and such. It's just like connect. You can easily connect with other people and such. And there goes not Twitter. there goes YouTube breaking again. You can easily just straight up connect with a bunch of people and just have a conversation with them. You can have a nice, easy, simple conversation. And Discord, as it's been updated through the years since, what was it, 2015, 2016, or whatever, has just made it easier to, you know, categorize, like, there's even a function to, like, categorize conversations. It's like, if these three people are having, like, an in-depth conversation, you can turn that into a thread, and it, you know, makes a folder of that conversation, basically, to easily compartmentalize stuff and such. And so you can just have conversations. But I don't see that with Twitter. I know I'm kind of repeating myself and going on a rant or whatever about this stuff, but I say or think it's warranted. I think it's warranted. Because I don't know. I was, you know. Like, I hear a lot of people say, like, the first thing they do when they wake up is they check Twitter. They look at their Twitter. And such, or do look at Twitter and do whatever they do on Twitter. Whatever that is, I don't know what it is, but whatever they do on Twitter, you know, that's what they do the first thing they wake up. And I'm like, really? Huh? Because, like, I don't even do that with Discord. Like, you know what the first thing I do is when I wake up? I go downstairs and I eat breakfast. I just wake up, get out of my bed, go down the stairs, because my bed's on the upstairs of the house. I go downstairs and I eat myself breakfast. And then I go about doing all that. And then I make myself coffee, and I come down into my office, which is now down to the basement. Come down into the basement to my office, and I watch something or other while I drink my coffee. And after I'm done drinking my coffee and watching that thing, then, and only then, which is usually like, I don't know, 2 hours probably after I've woken up, maybe 2.5 hours after I've woken up, then I check Discord. I look at Discord and see, yes, the same mess. I'll read, I'll read what I can read of conversations and then save other stuff for later. It's like, I don't have time to read through that whole entire conversation right now. And then after all of that, like 3 to 3.5 hours later after I've woken up. Then I look at Twitter and it's like, oh, there is 159 new posts since I last looked at Twitter when I went to sleep. Let me see what nonsensical madness it is now. I click the update thing, and it takes me like 10 seconds to scroll through all of it because it's all just the same bunch of nonsense that is just like, I don't know what this is. It's just the same stuff that was there yesterday. And I scroll through it and it's like, all right, that's it for Twitter. And then I go about doing, working on stuff, whatever it is that I might be working on that day, be it, model stuff with Unity and Blender, or working on who knows what. I've got too many bloody projects that I'm working on and such, and there's not enough time in the world, in the universe, to do all the stuff I want to do. All the projects I want to do while also, like, hanging out and talking with friends. There's not enough time in the world. I wish there was. There's not. But yeah. So, like, Twitter and even Discord is like an afterthought to me. It's like, oh, maybe I should check that. See what's going on. And then I see, like, oh, nothing's going on. Okay. But yeah, this started out as, like, questioning the ability of socialization on Twitter. Which I don't see. I mean, maybe there's some part of Twitter that I'm absolutely missing, and would, if I saw that aspect or part of Twitter or whatever, everything would make sense. What that is, I don't know what it is, and no one has told me, of me asking everyone under the sun of my friends who are avid internet people and, use Twitter and such all the time and all that stuff. They have not told me. So I'm like, kind of, and looking it up on the internet, as there's nothing about it on the internet. It's just like, oh, you don't know how to use Twitter? You're an idiot. And that's basically it. As I don't know. It's oh, there goes YouTube breaking again. Welcome back, Penguin. Like, I'd love to know and see and understand what the socializing part of Twitter is. Went to go grab some packages. I'll see. Cause if I could find or figure out what the heck this actual socializing part of Twitter is, maybe I could actually, like, get somewhere or do something with growing my numbers and getting somewhere with streaming, But I'm missing some part of Twitter, because, like, I have I have 2 tabs of Twitter open. One of them is just my home page, timeline, whatever you want to call it, thing. And then the other one is the timeline thing, or I don't know what it is. I guess the timeline thing for the hashtag VTubers, which the whole hashtag thing, I don't understand. Like, how are you supposed to know about these different hashtags and such? I mean, are you supposed to just like randomly, and it's not like you can, it's not like a normal internet search, like where like to Google or whoever you use, you can just type in VTubers and, you know, get a lot of information and such. This is like, the whole hashtag thing is this one long congealed word. Or congealed, like, amalgamation of words or whatever. And, like, how are you supposed to know it exists? Because, like, if say, you know, there's some, you got Legos? Oh, nice. I haven't bought or gone Legos in, I don't know, what, like 15 years. Like, say, I don't know. Also some other stuff. There goes YouTube breaking again. Say I'm actually like trying very hard to think of something. Say something new comes out, like as I don't know, something like, let's say something about VTubers and figurative speech or whatever. I don't know. Like, are you supposed to just get, like, there's something new trending, all right? But you don't know what it is. You just have some general idea of, what it is, but you don't know, like, specifically what it's called. You know, like, specifically what the hashtag of it is. Are you supposed to just randomly guess at, like, combinations of words strung together? You know, hashtag the day of real, you know? And that's the thing that's trending or something. Like, how are you supposed to know that? As a bad example, I can't for the life of me try to think of something, because I guess that shows my ineptitude of understanding hashtags and such, because I can't even think of you know, just a random hashtag thingamabobber off the top, you know, off my head or whatever. I can't think of it. It's an enigma to me. I don't understand it. But yeah, I have the hashtag, my second Twitter tab is the hashtag VTubers thing, which I don't even understand what this is. It's just, it is a collection of, as best as I can understand, it's just a collection of posts that are related to that hashtag or have that hashtag in the post. I guess it seems like, but then it's like, It's just, but then I scroll through it, it's just this very chaotic, random assortment of who knows what posts. And I'm like, what am I looking at? And this is the community you talk about? How am I supposed to connect and socialize when I hear this? This doesn't make any sense. Is it just I don't know. I don't get it. And there goes YouTube breaking again. Why is YouTube breaking in the way and such that it is breaking? I don't understand. It's a big mess of stuff that I just don't understand. And in me not understanding, it more or less has screwed me over in terms of trying to do anything related to the internet, along with also trying to do any like types of content creation and such. Which is unfortunate. I would say it's unfortunate. But it's at a point where it's like, how do I catch up? How do I get myself into a position where it's like, oh yes, everything's good now. I am one of the internet people. I'm one of the culture and such. Everything is fine. Everything, everything is good. I can, do stuff with this. Like, is it past the point of return, or past the point of me joining the internet, so to speak, or I guess, or whatever? I don't know. I don't know. I want to make sense of everything. I want to join the internet because I'm missing out on a lot of stuff, and I want to do something with a lot of this stuff, but I have some inability to do so. And it's frustrating. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Growing on Twitter is mostly about following the trends. Yeah, but you have to know about the trends to follow them. And so it's like, how do you know about the trends in the first place? Like, how do you go about, how are you even supposed to do that? And the only way I found the only way I found out about the VTuber boobs versus IRL boobs trend thing was because Twitter randomly, like, threw into my notifications, like, hey, here's this random tweet from this person, and the tweet of the person was talking about that was mentioned that trend. I'm like, what is this? I read it. I was like, what is this trend that you speak of? And I tried, like, searching on the internet, and I did a internet search, VTuber trend, or VTuber boobs versus IRL boobs Twitter trend, and I found next to nothing on it. Found a couple things. I was like, oh, okay. I found a couple things that kind of gave me an idea. I was like, oh, okay. And I thought, doing the internet search, like, I thought it was like, oh, this is still like this is a very small trend or whatever. And then I, tell Uni, I tell Uni about it, and he did. He typed in. I don't know what led him to, what line of thinking led him to do this, but he typed in that hashtag booba into Twitter, and he came back to me on Discord saying, "Oh my gosh, it's everywhere!" And I'm like, "Huh? What are you talking about?" And he said that it was all over Twitter. I'm like, what? Is it? How? Where? What did you do? How did you find this? And he said he typed in hashtag booba. I was like, huh? I was like, okay. So I typed it in myself, and then I came back to him on Discord saying, oh my gosh, it's everywhere. I was just scrolling and scrolling, and it was everywhere. I was like, oh my gosh, I thought this was a small trend. And this thing is humongous. What the heck? It's everywhere. It's like, what? How did this explode? And where did this come from? Like, what? It just didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. The way to keep up with friends is follow some people who are always on top of the trends. See, I don't even know who those are. I get. It's kind of like secondhand smoking, right? You're in the room. Say you're in the room with a bunch of smokers, or there's a bunch of smokers in one room, and you're in another room. That smoke is coming into the room you're in. But you don't see or know who the smokers are. But you still get the you because that smoke is filtering into your room, you still get the secondhand smoke. That's kind of the trends are the smokers or whatever. And I'm the person in the other room kind of getting just like, kind of like, huh? Where is this coming from? Why am I getting secondhand smoke? That's how it is to me. So it's kind of like, who are the people that are on top of the trend? Cause like, I can go to Twitter here. I go to Twitter here, right? And where is funny time? Right, I go to Twitter here. This and the what's happening here. This is what it is. This is all it ever is. It's a bunch of the what's happening is a bunch of nonsense. It's just a bunch of nonsense. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, what defamation trial enters 6th and final week. Hashtag Lightyear. That's a promoted hashtag thing of what's happening. Monkey Apocalypse, Pence, and Russian tank commander jailed for life over war crime. It's changed. Now it's for technology. What? For technology? Technology trending. Aura. Huh? See, it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm kind of just very. It's. I don't know. It's weird. I don't get it. And my friend Major says it's because I don't like enough stuff. But I like stuff all the time. I've you want to see my likes? Here, we'll go through my likes. I like stuff. I clicked the little heart button. I click the heart button. There's a lot of stuff I like. I click the heart button on things. There are things I click the heart button on, so it's like, what do you mean I don't like things enough? There's a lot of things I like, or have clicked the heart button on. So I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand. It's beyond me and my realm of understanding. And there goes YouTube breaking again. Can you not break, YouTube? Stop breaking. But yeah, I like plenty of things. So I don't know why I don't get like recommendation stuff that's actually geared towards me. Like, you want to know, the funny thing, I talked about this a long time ago, before I even became a VTuber. That I talked about where when VTubers were first exploding, people were getting recommended VTuber stuff left and right. Even if they didn't even watch anything VTuber related, they were getting recommended VTuber stuff. And I never got recommended anything VTuber related. I never got recommended. I didn't even know what VTubers were at the time. I was like, I don't know what this is. I didn't know a single thing about them. And then, people kept going on about, like, you know, going down the VTuber pipe hole. It's like once you watch one video, all your recommendations are filled with VTubers. I never experienced that. That was not something that I experienced. Because, like, when it came a time where I started, like, researching VTubers and, like, trying to learn what the heck is this VTuber thing. So I was watching a lot of VTuber stuff and trying to find. I was trying to hunt down VTuber stuff in the first place, and it was very hard for me to find it on YouTube. And, like, trying to find various clips and such to, like, try and learn what VTubers were. It was not an easy thing for me to find. And even after, like, watching tons of VTuber stuff, and I mean tons of VTuber stuff, YouTube still did not recommend me anything VTuber related. Funny enough, like, there's still, like, VTuber stuff that I watch from time to time, and YouTube never has really doesn't recommend me anything VTuber related at all, ever. I'm just kind of like, I guess I break systems, apparently. The only things I get recommended, the only things YouTube recommends to me is music and Markiplier. And that's it. That's all I get, is music and Markiplier. But yeah, you can see I like plenty of things. I like plenty of things here on Twitter. So it doesn't make much sense. And there goes YouTube breaking again. Oh, it came back. And maybe the internet is just trying to tell me, or yell at me, no, you can't join the internet. I'm sorry, but you can't join the internet. This place does not welcome you. I don't. know. But anyways, I've kind of gone over time here, about 30 minutes over time, so, yeah. Yeah. I should end it since I've gone over time. I don't even think yeah, I don't have anyone to raid. I don't have anyone to raid Liz or anyone to raid. So I'm just gonna straight up end my stream. So like I said earlier, I'm just gonna go back to being a hobby streamer. Cause I'm not gonna be able to. It's an impossibility at this point for me to make a job of it. So and such. So no point in doing all the like schedule stuff and like being like, oh, this is what I'm doing here and this is what I'm doing this and all this stuff. So I'm gonna keep the Monday morning coffee and chat stream kind of like the same time and everything, just on Mondays around like 10 a.m. Eastern time. Still gonna keep that in the long, but I'm gonna end up streaming when I stream and such. Just whenever I stream is when I'll stream. So in that regard, just look for me when you see me. Yeah. Anyways, time to send you to the void and such, because I'm not sending on a raid to anyone because there's no one to raid. Anyways, I'm out of here. I need to get some more water. Death befall you and all that rubbishness. Wow.